All right, everybody. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Glad that I could actually stream on time today. I also was fortunate enough to be able to get my ADHD medicine in yesterday, so I was able to take it today. So I shouldn't have an issue with anything, and hopefully we can get through this. What we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing the portrait part of Valentine's, aka Val's character reference sheet from my Webtoon Born and Raised. I made some adjustments as well to August's character sheet. I got rid of the text part on it because I feel like it just looked kind of crappy. So I moved things around a little bit. So I'll show you that in a sec here. Let me go ahead and let's get over on this screen here. So the last time we worked on this, I had finished the back view. I had started the color palette, but what I did is I just rearranged it. I put the little same effect that I had on it on August's character sheet, and this is the change I made on August's character sheet. I felt like that font just like looked really bad, and it took up too much space. This is a lot cleaner, so I just changed it. And also, Val has so many different little palettes. If I were to put the text for every single one, it would just look cluttered and awful. So, just decided to ditch that. Alrighty. So let's go ahead here. I did also a really quick sketch of Val casting some magic over here. And then once we get done with this, we are going to design his bat, and then his character sheet will be all done, which will be cool. And then we can move on to some of the other characters in the webtoon. I'm thinking what I'll do next is probably August's love interest, JoJo. She's also a fucking badass, so I love JoJo, so yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun to design her. I did a sheet for her a little while ago, but that was before I got my skills up here, so we're just doing all sorts of updates here just to make sure that visually everything is consistent. So this is going to be more in the webtoon style here, so the line work's going to be a little thicker, a little bit not quite as refined here because we need to make sure that we can draw it quickly. Of course, we still want it to look good. I probably should have emphasized their nose bridge a little bit more on August's character sheet, but both the brothers have a bit of a nose bridge that makes them look more distinct from the other characters. Have him looking a little bit more serious here since he's casting some magic to explode some zombies. because this magic is really powerful. It's just not very good at controlling it. Hey, what's up, Nepha? Glad you can make it. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Bempha. Bempha, even. I like it. It stands for badass Bempha, so. Oh, by the way, if you guys could send Rainbow Dogs some positive energy, they are going through a pretty rough time right now. I won't air their business, but if you have seen their Twitter posts, you know what I'm talking about. So just make sure you send some positive energy their way so we can get Rainbow Dog back in up on her feet and feeling better. So I'm happy about how quick these are coming along. It's nice to be working on the Webtoon again. Oops. His jawline needs to come down. There we go. That looks a lot better. And it's always good to try to do both eyes around the same time. That way you don't get like the one eye that looks like wonky. You can have it be look more consistent. I know a lot of time the other eye is the artist's bane. I'm sure he's got more of a bridge here. Oops. This one might be a little thicker than it needs to be. Let me go ahead and fix that. Oops. And this needs to come out just a little bit more. So he has some cheeks. There we go, that looks a lot better. Let's see, I think I have a brush for his freckles. I do. Some more on the bridge of his nose here. Try to keep it as random as possible. Probably good. And let's get that off of his eyelid. There we go. Alright, should get the goggles. Gotta move them over a little bit from where I had them on the sketch here. He's got enough room for the nose bridge. So far, so good. I mean, I'm drawing this pretty quickly, so that's good signs already. little bit more for the frame of it. And we'll just erase away that one. And just kind of a line there. Zoom in, make sure I got everything looking right here. Yeah, having these sheets is going to be so useful. Make sure we keep everything consistent enough here. This is a little up close, we can give it some depth. Probably should have that a little bit thicker, but I think it'll be okay for now. Let's see if I can get this line. There we go. Well, curve it a little bit more. And we'll fix right here. That. That looks good. And then I can take And I like to use a bit of a bigger brush for when I do like my actual Webtoon line art, because that'll make it show up better when it's like smaller. Yo, what up, Pensy? Let's give this some depth. Might actually make that a little bit smaller. I think that's a little bit big. Just a tad bit. Bring that in. Probably a bit more. Looks a little bit better. There we go. That's a better size. That was like comically big. there's a little break in it. Ooh, nice. What'd you get? Alright, and then we got this side over here. Because his head's turned the other way, so we're going to be able to see it a little bit more. And make sure we're consistent with it here. Wait, it would actually be going the other way. So we gotta flip it. There we go. Well, actually, maybe it would still be on this side. Because his head's turned that way, so that it would still be on that side. Okay. I know I have his, like, body turned the other direction, but his head is still... This is where being dyslexic sucks. Yeah, it would still be on this side. Okay, cool. Ooh, nice. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I'm like super enjoying that. Like, it's so good. But I really want to play Clair Obscura as soon as I can get it. I gotta wait for it to be well, it's on sale now, but I don't really have any cash for it, so it's okay. I can wait. No biggie. And we'll have it so he's not casting like a really big spell, so his hair won't be moving too much. It'll just be like a regular spell. Maybe it'll be like a defensive spell or something that he's casting. Yeah. It's okay though. I've got plenty right now, so I'm not whining. Like, I absolutely love Final Fantasy VII, so having Rebirth is amazing. And I'm not totally influenced by Final Fantasy in my artwork. I don't know what you're talking about. That is a bull-faced lie. Vicious Aniki slander. That's playing like the Oops. Where is... Oh, there it is. Let's switch this off. I need to go through and filter out all the like really weird, extra long Mars Volta songs. Because it's like they have a couple of like really good ones, and then some of them are just kind of like trippy. Not really good for like working on artwork. I should probably come out a little more. That's better. So far, so good. Oops. Actually, that needs to come more like there. Because it's got a little hairline. Starts right there. Well, maybe I should draw this line first. Like that. And this comes in front of it. And of course, it doesn't have to be like one for one, like with the reference, but well, it'll be pretty close there. There'll be like different scenarios, of course, where like the hair will be like affected by different things, different positions, and different like wind conditions and that kind of thing. So you don't want it to be like stiff and like static always in the same position. So just recognizable that it's that character's like hairstyle. In fact, this should. Oops. This needs to curve a little bit more this way. Let's come up and over. Needs to go. Ah, no, I'm confusing myself. So we're going to have like a little right here from where it comes from the hairline. And then this, oh, maybe if I flip it the other way, that'll help me. No, I should have flipped it this way first. Let's go like that. And we have, it kind of flips over a little bit here. Like I think the problem is I draw August so much more consistently that I draw Val. Gotta get used to drawing Val. That's okay. That's what this is for. Ah, dropped my pen. I can get my brush to cooperate here. There. It's that, and then connect this back into there. Clean this line up. Try to regain that line confidence. And then we can do that. And line confidence just means that you draw like a stroke all the way through without stopping, and then you can go back through and just you know erase away the parts where it like overlaps. That way your lines don't look like shaky or scratchy. That's why I'm like, you know, trying to do one continuous stroke, and then if I don't like the line, I just hit, you know, Control Z or back, undo. But you can do this with traditional too. You just have to use your actual like eraser. When you're doing this digitally, you have to kind of deal with like a there's a little bit of a parallax depending on your tablet, where your brush indicator, like your little circle that I got here for my brush, isn't exactly lined up with um, where you are putting your pen pressure at. So it's something you got to kind of like make slight adjustments for, and sometimes it's a pain in the ass, but it's the price you pay for being a digital artist here. There's going to be a caveat unless you have like an ultra like premium tablet, like a Wacom or something. So they have like pretty much no parallax because they use a glass screen. Like the one I have has a plastic screen, so now we're getting there. All right, let's get the we'll get the adjustment strap. I like how this song is about Bowsette. Bowsette is superior princess anyway. Don't be thick. I should save. Oh, did you guys see that Rainbow Dog did an icon for the quantum observer points? I don't know. I gotta look. I could look real fast. Let's see. Not so far, Pensy. I was gonna do a reminder post a little bit later. Nice. Hell yeah. Premium Pensy art. I like it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to tell Alex's wife that I watched all the Stranger Things episodes. She wanted to talk about it. I don't know. I think it's like, I mean, I like the visuals, I like the concept, but like a lot of the writing is just like extreme plot armor for all the main characters. Like super plot armor. Like they got all the rings. They're like supersonic level. Like they're like, oh, you thought I was gonna die? Well, guess what? Psychic powers that we totally could have gone into like way earlier. I mean, I don't like dislike the show, but I just feel like some of the writing is a little lazy, which happens a lot in modern media anyway. So like especially with like the Demogorgons, because they like just like turbo wreck anybody who's not like a main character, and then they like somehow like other characters like completely survive, even though they just like roast like soldiers and shit with like machine guns. It's like, dude, it's kind of like the same problem I have with The Walking Dead, where like for some reason the military with like tanks and bombs and snipers and all sorts of stuff can't handle shamblers, but like some random like trailer trash with a fucking screwdriver can kill a zombie in like hand-to-hand combat. It's like, come on. You can't tell me that the world was overrun by zombies if they're that easy to kill. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it was hype when she like, protected Holly, but it's like it's like the one good parenting thing she's done this whole time. She's been like thirsting for Billy otherwise, who is a teenager. I mean, I get it, her husband sucks, but oops. Let me bring this up just a little bit. His ear a little too big. There we go. That's better. He does have big ears, but not that big. I like drawing my characters with bigger ears. I have a totally non-biased reason for that. Yeah, it's not consistent. Like the power scaling or whatever is just all over the place. Excuse me. So far, so good. Got the most difficult part done at least. Make sure I save here. There we go. Hell yeah. Nice. I can't wait to see him. I think you had posted some in the Discord, and I hadn't had a chance to respond to that yet. I promise I wasn't ignoring you. On my days off from streaming, I usually just like turn my brain like 100% off and just like play video games or something, or if I have a project to work on. I couldn't work on anything this week because I didn't have my ADHD medicine until yesterday. I was gonna work on your commission more, Pensy, because I want to get it done before Christmas, and then I got to adjust Three Frogs commission a little bit after that. I'm trying to give it a like he is made of rubber bands, but I want to give him a little bit of thickness at least, so he doesn't look helpless. He's not. Wait, give him a little more forearm here. What are you doing?
I'm just going up an hour.
Okay. I hope you have a good nap.
Oh well.
It's pretty warm in here. That might have something to do with it.
Oh, nope. Nope, 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 nope. It's always warm in here. I really don't like that you can't turn down the volume on phones anymore.
Yeah. You get jump scared by the volume on your phone.
Or even if you just put the down volume, it just does not turn up.
Yeah. Happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Or it'll start playing like music that you totally had like stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, for why? We're also going to go back through on this and thicken some of these lines here and there. Let me make sure I'm keeping things consistent here. It's got a little bit of a thing on his sleeve here. Ooh, nice. Hell yeah. I try to pop in there when I see you guys streaming. For me, sometimes it's like I'll see you guys streaming when I'm working on something, so it's like really difficult for me to go back and forth and like interact with you guys. So when you guys do it for me, like I really appreciate it because I know it's like hard when you're working on your own projects to interact. So try to do my best to pay it forward and give you guys some interaction on your streams. Do you like your new tablet there, Pensy? Have you tried messing with it yet? Trying to get this to make sense here. At least a little bit of perspective. Yeah, layers take a while to get used to, but once you get that down, you'll be like, "Oh my god, how did I like do art without these?" Layers are basically like, if you had like a transparent sheet of paper and you laid it over top of another piece of paper, like that's essentially a layer. But it also depends on the so there's probably whatever program you're using. If you're using like Clip Studio Paint or something like Photoshop or whatever that has like what's called a layer blending mode, that's usually in like a little drop down above where your layers are. like a normal layer means it's going to be like completely like, say if you filled it with like a solid color, it's going to stay that solid color because it's a normal layer. It's like a regular layer. But if you change the blending mode to say something like multiply, it takes whatever color you've chosen and it like darkens it and adds like saturation to it. So it's for like shading and stuff. So yeah, they're definitely your best friend for digital art. 100%. Mastering layers is the probably the first thing you should like focus on. So like for you, what I would do is take your artwork, take a picture of it with your camera, and then make a layer over top of that. Like make a new file and then make a layer over top of it, and then practice drawing like your lines on top of that. You know what I'm thinking here? I gotta make sure these folds make sense. So let's see. They're kind of wrapped around the arm, so need to kind of be like this more, and then they kind of wrap the other way like that. Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. Try to take one that you've already done and then translate that uh, using like your layers. That's gonna help you get used to the difference in the uh, texture of like the screen tablet versus doing things like traditionally. That's a little bit better. Sleeve. Yeah, and like if you get stuck too, like I said, using YouTube is like a total like gift, basically that helped me tremendously like learn new things. All right, let's see. Look at this to make sure I'm not messing things up. And we're not going to be able to see every little thing from the angle this is at. Which is okay. gonna have to add some thickness to certain parts of this. Alright, got a little bit of his shirt would be kind of sticking up here. Oh, from here. Kind of like that. There's also there's another way to do like your lines layers too. I just haven't figured out all the nuances of it, and it's called a vector layer. And so here, let me make one real quick. So if I do a vector layer, right, and I do something like this, and then I do some like lines through it, you can set your eraser tool to see how it erases away where it like intersects just by going over across it. Oops. And you can adjust like the brush size and all that. And that's like a really easy way to do like line work as well. I just been using raster layers because I have a little bit more like control of like the thickness. But that's just something to consider if you're struggling with like your line work. That way you can practice doing like the line confidence that I was talking about, where you like draw through with like using your shoulder and your elbow as much as you can. And then you just kind of go in and erase away, and then you can clean your line back up. Get like the back of his head here. We got some more hair that actually comes down back here. And if you're having trouble with like a line too, don't forget you can zoom like way in or like way out, and that changes the amount of surface area that you have to flick your arm around. And of course, like zooming in to make sure that like you don't have like artifacts or whatever. Makes things way easier. I don't know. Having digital tools is just it's just so nice because you can always go back and you can always like edit and you can always change things as long as you haven't I mean, if you flatten it all together, you can still even like make layers over top of it and then like go over like mistakes and that kind of thing. So it gives you a lot of freedom to like experiment and play with things, which is really nice because it all of your you can let your creativity flow without having to worry too much about like ruining a piece. Do a Pensy pick of Delilah. One, not sure. Um, I would just do whatever. I would start with the character you're most comfortable with. So probably, I mean, Pensy's like your main OC. So I would probably start with Pensy. Whatever one you are the most comfortable drawing. That would be my recommendation. That way you're not going like way out of like your comfort zone with something when you're still learning. This needs to be more of a curved line here. This material is more like fluffy. Alright, guys, I'll be right back. I gotta run to the restroom. I'll try to be as quick as possible. BRB. All right, sorry about that, guys. My stomach was like, "Hey, I hate you." So let me go ahead and save. Oh, actually, I already did save before I went. Let me get some water. Hell yeah. Oh man, the points icon looks so good. Carla did an awesome job. Alright, back to what I was doing. Let me make sure I can see you guys on Twitch over here. Hell yeah. And we're gonna flip it this way. Alright, so let's see. So I definitely need his other collar here on his shirt. Make sure it comes out enough. So let's do this. Have it flip over a little bit here. Sure that it has a fold in it. Right there. And other side of the hoodie. Right here. Like normally I would draw all the way through like the head, but I do not feel like erasing away all those details, so we're not going to do that this time. I gotta get his bandana a little bit here. This arm's gonna be blocking a good amount of stuff, but we want to make sure we still draw the other things behind it so it's consistent. Vegeta, stop. There's no reason to go out there, buddy. Gotta try not to confuse myself doing this too. Real easy to do. take this. Erase that away. Just need to see where everything, where the folds and everything are behind these pieces. Like I said, I recommend drawing through things, but don't get too far ahead. Like try to, like, if you need to erase away stuff, make sure you do it pretty close to when you do it. That way you don't confuse your brain with what you're doing. If you jump ahead too far, you'd be like, what the hell did I do this for? Like, what line goes where? Dude, if you do not stop, I'd be like such a pain in the ass, like when I'm streaming. Love you, buddy. You gotta wait. Let's see. My cat is also distracting me. He tries to escape the room all the time when I'm streaming, but he doesn't get along with the other kitties, so it's like, can't let him out yet. All the cats in the house are kind of jerks. Kind of actually is an understatement. Even my own kitty is a jerk, as kitties are by default. It's kind of like their nature. They like eat each other's food and like hopes that they're gonna starve the other one to death, and like we're not just gonna come along and give them more food, and they poop in each other's boxes, and it's just so rude. It's so petty. But it's like, you can't apply like human logic to an animal, so I just think it's kind of funny. Let's see. Trying to find a song to get me motivated here. I feel like my energy is a little low today, so I'm sorry, guys. I'll let this on. That's good. I always love good covers of like classic songs. And now that I'm an adult and I understand the lyrics, I'm like, oh, these songs were dirty as fuck. Should probably get his, make his neck a little bit thinner here because he's not a very big dude by any means. Not gonna be able to see a lot of this. That's okay. Best thing to do is to not force it because, you know, if it just doesn't show up, it just doesn't show up at that angle. Don't try to like put it anyway, like, oh, this is an important detail. It's not that important because the getting the pose and the angle and everything is more important. Because you'll have opportunities to show those details in other poses, so definitely never force detail where it shouldn't be. Or at least try not to. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not your father. I'm gonna do what I want, Dad. Do a little bit of some line, thicker lines here underneath his chin. I am gonna have to go through after I finish drawing everything to do some line thickness variation here and there. Promises I never got. Should probably just go ahead and fill that in. No. Zoom is going crazy on me. Like I said, we're not going to be able to see a lot of these straps, but let me see where they would be in relation. They might show up just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Like just the tip. Probably just the one. Well, yeah, just the one would show, because the other one would be too low for that. And I'm gonna erase these. it goes through the arm. You know, it's funny, like, you know, I love Webtoon so much, but I've been like observing it like more closely, and I realized just how like rough a lot of the ones that are like published actually are. Like the drawing and the line work and stuff. So it makes me feel like way better about like not putting 110% into like every, you know, panel or pose. And like even these like, you know, Korean like webtoons with like their entire like, you know, team of people still takes like shortcuts here and there to meet deadlines. So, you know, don't feel bad about the line work being like not perfect because it doesn't need to be. Plus, it's like super small, and a lot of people aren't going to notice a lot of the imperfections anyway. I'm going to give it a little bit of some wind movement here, since he's going to be casting here. It will disturb his outfit a bit. Like if he was doing like a more like a big spell, like his clothing would be like flapping all over the place. Like a hey, we really need to get through this obstacle that's in our way. So, anyways, I started blasting. Like they're not dumb, but they're also not like the most intellectual people either. So a lot of solution is brute force. Yeah. I mean, they have an education. Like you know, when this whole thing started, they were like mostly through like high school, and it's been a long time since then. Like August like reads on like the regular. They also have there's other characters that are in like Oasis that live there that you know can help them a little bit with like some knowledge and stuff. So let's get this would actually kind of cross over that a little bit. Come down. Actually, I have it come. This one come over the top. So fix that. So I'll have it started like right here. Like the girl that makes and like maintains their equipment has a big crush on Val here, so he's always hearing an earful from her about how things are supposed to work and what they're supposed to do and not to do. Oh no. It's okay. Just whatever you do, don't give up on it. Just take it in chunks. Like give yourself like small goals to meet and then you'll get there eventually. I think this whole thing needs to be up higher actually. Now that I look at it, this needs to be like up here. Fix this. Make sure this comes out more. I think the hardest part with oh yeah, that doesn't help, dude. That does not help. Not judging, but yeah, might want to recover from that. I know whenever I would try after like some drinking, like I would be like having like the worst time, feeling nauseous and everything. I think like the only time I ever like tried to do any artwork when I've been drinking was like I just did like really silly, stupid portraits on my phone with my finger of like my roommates at the time. It was just something silly, so it wasn't like anything like anything serious by any means. I don't like that. So it looks like at the rate we're going here, I'm going to be able to probably just finish up the lines for this stream, and then we will pick up coloring it and doing his bat on the next one, which is fine. I'd rather, split it up and take my time than rush it and have it look bad. So we are getting there with the lines at least. I have his other part of his shirt kind of a little bit more forward like that. You just want a little bit of a flow to it. Back of the vest, come around that way. Yeah. Yeah, I would do some recovery first. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It just would be, easier on you. I know when I don't feel like 100%, like I don't want to do art at like all. I'm just like, mm-mm. Like I'm trying to get the big shapes here, and then I can go in and I can fix the lines where they need it. So you probably only be able to see a little bit of his shirt here underneath. It's always hard to do like pants folds for me. They're like kind of difficult for me to comprehend for some reason. Look at his arm here. I haven't flipped it in a while. It's probably a good idea. You know what? This might not even actually show up here. Should probably go ahead and do up here before I run out of gas. his pocket device on his wrists here. Why? Give me my eraser. Oh my god. It just did not want to cooperate. Gotta shift this a little bit. That's a little bit better. Definitely gonna have to go through and clean a lot of this up. That is okay. Oops. Get his arm. I can draw a line. And you can go, no. That's better. Just have to clean up these lines when I'm done. Give me my eraser. Hate it when it does that. That's a lot better. Do the hair real quick. So we're almost to a point where we can start cleaning things up here. So I haven't played Resident Evil 4. I mean, I played a little bit of the original 4, but I didn't make it very far. I have the third remake I need to play because I also have personally never beaten that game. I watched a friend beat it, so I also need to get on that at some point. I'm not very good at the Resident Evil games, but I do like them. think this is the tip of the other finger here. Oops. I think it's actually the tip of that finger. Almost there. At least on the lines. Oh my god, give me the eraser. Why are you like this? Why you do this to me? I don't know if I like that folded like that. I think it's okay as it is. Alright, so I just need to get this arm here. That, and then let me think about this underneath here. So we kind of wrapped around this way. And with that. Alright, you can see a little bit of it. If I'm thinking about it correctly. So I did make his sleeves pretty poofy, pretty big. Let's get rid of these lines so they don't confuse me. And this. And I can fix that in just a moment. Just kind of put the line back in for now, just so I know that it's part of that. And then I'll come back to this and fix it in a little bit. We're going to clean up the lines here just as soon as we get give him a little more of a forearm there. I don't need these. Yeah, we'll clean that all up in a little bit. Yeah, I know a lot of people like it. I'm not really. I guess it's because I'm not really a fan of Leon too much. I think he's like a really overused character, and I know like people are going to show up at my door with like pitchforks over that, but I just don't really care for him as much as other people do, I guess. With his Jonathan Taylor Thomas haircut. this. These fingers are exposed. I know. I mean, there's just so many opportunities to use like either newer characters or like older characters. Like I feel like they could have done a lot more with like Barry and like Rebecca and Carlos. The other like Stars team members just got kind of like banished to the Shadow Realm. I mean, I know they have a few games where they do have them in it, but they're like really like the obscure ones that like were on systems where like nobody played those games. So a lot of people don't even know that there's games that have like Barry and like Rebecca and Carlos in them, which I think is kind of shitty because it's like, why even make those characters, Sorry, Betsy. Well, you're champion size, so you're gonna win anyway. You're allowed to love Leon. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm just giving my hot take. My flaming hot Cheetos take is I don't really like Leon that much. Okay, cool. Now we can go through and we can clean these lines up. So let me turn off the sketch. Definitely have to make this hand looks a little weird, so we're gonna fix that. But I'm gonna turn off some of this background stuff because I think it's distracting me a little bit. Make things easier for me to see. There we go. Now we can clean our lines up. But I think he's looking pretty good. Yeah, Jill is my girl. Yeah. I definitely prefer Jill over, like, Claire. I don't really care for Claire too much either. We're just gonna kind of go through here and we're gonna add some thickness to some of the lines where they intersect. Just here and there. And then we'll clean up places where it's kind of sloppy or, that kind of thing. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because this is the Webtoon style. I'm not making like a full-on illustration, but I try to at least have it look, pretty good. Within my acceptable standards. Oh my god, my brush is messing up. There we go. Sometimes the pressure sensitivity gets messed up. I don't know why. Some of these lines up here could be a little bit better. It's going to go a little off the screen here. But yeah, there was like a bunch of games that were like on the Wii and the Wii U that I never played, and I did play the Resident Evil original remake on GameCube, and that was awesome. That was really good. Just having like the much nicer graphics, but still like the same feel as like Resident Evil was really cool. I would still like a 100% modern like remake of the first one. I think would be nice. And they still had like the cheesy dialogue in it. Yeah, Jeezy getting me hype here to fix up my lines. Fucking love Jeezy. Black Coco, see without love. Guys. I think it's funny that even though this song came out like during the like 2008 like recession or whatever, like it's still like super relevant. Things haven't changed very much. Well, they've gotten worse actually. It's in the script. It's not nice to get flexed. Somebody got to give a fuck. It's so good. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're just gonna get these lines cleaned up, and then I'll pick this back up on Monday, and we can do his. We can do the coloring, and we can do his bet, and then we can move on to JoJo. Hopefully on Tuesday. JoJo's such a fun character, so. I'll just fill those in right there. Oh my god, I haven't heard this song forever. Oh, gee. Alright, let's see if we clean some of this up a little bit over here. needs to be cleaned up. Oops. Sorry, this is probably not the most exciting thing to watch at the moment, but we're almost there. Trying to find some hype songs to get us through the end here. Ooh, I like this song a lot. Not exactly an energetic song, but I do like it a lot. It's pretty sick. It's pretty much like a tough ass breakdown through like the whole song. this finger is exposed here. Almost done. Kind of get where the pocket is. At least an approximation. Let's fix this. Stop playing weird Mars Volta songs. It's like, joke's on you, every Mars Volta song is weird. It's like, shut up. Shut the fuck up, I know. I always try to make the fingers like a little bit longer than the reference. I think it looks better. This probably more there. Oh, I'm using a 3D model. I use a 3D model, and then I do like just like the knowledge I picked up of kind of like where the folds and whatnot in the hand and like the shape of the fingers. But most the 3D model, of course, is doing like most of the heavy lifting as to like you know the placement of everything and whatnot. So I just try my best to like add some stylization to it, so it's not like one for one with the model. Like change the shape a little bit here and there, and like like I said, the length of the fingers. I like to make it a little go a little bit beyond where like the reference is. Val and August have really like big hands and feet, so try to make sure that that's like present on their character with their like line work and everything. Like drawing hands from like scratch with no reference is a lot harder. Like I can do it, it just takes so much time. So much trial and error that I'm like, I do not have time for that, especially working on a webtoon. The main thing is like kind of realizing that like fingers aren't really round, they're more of like they're flat on the top and then they're a little bit rounded like underneath. So it's kind of easier to think of them more as like rectangles, and then they have like rounded like underneath parts, kind of like a tootsie roll almost, like on the bottom, like that kind of. I know that probably sounds weird, but it's like what my brain kind of like equates the structure to. Like the artist that I learned all my digital art from has like a really good tutorial video about like how to do hands and like how they're structured. Like breaks them into like shapes to think about when you're drawing them. So basically, like if you're having trouble drawing anything, you just want to like. I know this is very like common advice, but like try your best to like associate it with like a really simple shape that like you have like a really good uh, understanding of in 3D in your mind. Like it doesn't have to be exactly the same shape as everybody else uses, just as like it's something that's like comfortable for you to visualize. Like I kind of think of like pieces of hair as like kind of like chunkier like ribbons that are just a little bit more like 3D. Try not to do too much detail down here on the pants because it's not important. Trying to make sure the lines at least have some structure. this part hastily, so I gotta think about it. Go bring my sketch layer back up. That'll help me with that. So kind of break these up into triangular shapes. I know, like that. That'll give me a little bit easier. Oops, wrong brush. This way. Like that. And we can go this way here. Don't need too much detail down here because it's not the focus. Make sure there's no artifacts. Alright, just to kind of give you a quick idea with the hands, just what's going on in my head when I'm thinking about them. So this here it's kind of is a shape like this. This is one plane here, and it's decently flat, right? And then underneath it, you have another kind of chunk down here, like this. That kind of goes, and then the wrist is right here. So that's kind of the shape I'm kind of thinking about. And then this is flat, that is flat, that is flat, kind of going like that on the top. So I'm just going to kind of mark the top with the flat parts. And towards the bottom, they're going to go kind of like that a little bit. And then, the underside is kind of like this, chunkier. It's kind of rounded at the bottom. And then you have where the knuckles are kind of these diamond shape. And then, there would be knuckles here, of course, but they go kind of in the, and then of course you have your tendon things are kind of like that. So that's kind of how I think about a hand. You put them into planes. And then, the cool thing with digital is you could always lower the opacity on that. You could get rid of this, and then you could do your line work over top of it, with your hand. Like this is how I would like break it down if I were trying to just draw it without the reference. Just like kind of quick. And then you just gotta have like some, where like the tendons are. And then you take away the thing and you got your hand. I know that's easier said than done. I mean, it's just something you gotta practice. You just gotta think about how to like break things down into like shapes that are like easier to understand. Like this hand, I could actually probably go back and fix that even more after doing that, but I don't think I'm too terribly worried about it because I'm about to have this done anyway. This is, like I said, this is just for a reference sheet, so it's not, doesn't have to be like crazy. I just realized just how rough this is. You know, maybe I should use that, I should use these lines instead that I just did. That's what we're gonna do. That actually turned out way better. There we go. Now I can go through, I can clean this up to fit. I should use my own advice. Here I am giving like a tutorial and then not using it on my actual art. So let's do that. But I kind of try to like think about like the different like parts where it's flat while I'm drawing it, so I don't have to do all that like construction. But it's good to do construction when you're learning, or you know, say if I were to come back and I looked at this drawing, I'd be like, oh, I need to fix this, and then what I would have done is broken it down like that. So now that I see this is actually better, much better structurally, I'm going to use this. So it also depends on whether you want to like draw fingernails or not. Like sometimes I'll draw fingernails, or sometimes I'll do like an area that like implies that there's fingernails there. Oh my god, give me the eraser. Jesus Christ. Makes me so mad sometimes. So I can just go through, I can clean this up a little bit here. And this will actually be a much better hand than I did have, because I broke it down. So it was actually worth it to do that little tutorial. Oh yeah, it looks way better. This is a little too flat here though. We can make it a little more rounded. Oops. Let me kind of turn it this way. That's a little bit better. And the thumb area is like obscured, so you're not going to be able to see the thumb anyway. There we go. Hell yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Let me do my line art trick. I'll do like a stream where I break things down like a lot slower, so it'll be a little easier to follow along. Let's see, let's do lines and put this in a folder. Oops. And do that, and then we're going to select the outside. Oops, I didn't connect the lines here. Ha ha ha. Let me fix that. I was like, why is this not filling in? It's because this got erased. There we go. It's a lot better. There we go. Now I can select the outside because everything is closed. Hopefully everything is closed. Kind of zoom in and get the little in-betweens. Then invert that selection. And underneath. Put that in a folder. Hell yeah. Now I can turn all that other stuff back on. That. And that. Color palette. And then rear view. And front view. Hell yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. Let me go ahead and make this big so it fits the whole screen. You guys can see here. I think it looks pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with it. So let me go ahead and save. And I'm gonna throw you guys in the lobby and we're gonna wrap this up for today. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on stream today while I worked on this. I appreciate, having some company when I do artwork. Like, really helps me out, helps encourage me. I love talking to you guys. I have put up my art share post that I do every single week on my Twitter. Make sure you follow me on there because I pin the post to my Twitter and you can comment your artwork and I will show it off on stream every Saturday. If you like the kind of content I do, please follow me on here. Consider subscribing. That would help me out tremendously. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.